Juan-O's world.
My baby mama trippin', she been going through my phone. Tired of me cheating, I can't leave these hoes alone. Hella pics, hella tips on my cash app. It's like hold up a minute. What up, though, y'all? Want to welcome you to another episode or another video from Juan-O's world, however you want to put it. You know, don't get it wrong. I do have a plan on making more long form content, but to be honest with you, most people only watch videos for about up to 13 minutes. Unless I'm just ridiculously entertaining, which means I'm being slightly salacious. So, you know, as we work with people's attention spans, we're going to try to make sure we got things that fit people that mess with me. With that being said, this caught my attention. Now, this is the lady, some of you guys, I don't know if you remember Killer Mike and the Crip, or they was making blood pop, or when Nipsey Hussle died and we found out the Crips was copywritten, and so on and so forth. So some of these things are very interesting topics, because when it comes down to a gang, it's like, well, who gets the right to copyright it? Or do we all share in that? Or when it comes down to a person, it's like, shouldn't they own themselves? I don't know. It gets kind of convoluted, to be honest with you. And it's big business. So with that being said, with no further ado, let's check out baby girl Tia Cripps. Now look, she's a for sure MILF. I don't know if she got makeup on or she just got, but I holla at baby.
And everything that happened with that?
Yeah, well, right now we're in litigation. We have a $50 million lawsuit against Killer Mike, Big U, and a couple of Killer Mike's managers, and also Exotic Pop for trademark infringement for the use of the Crip brand without permission. Killer Mike is an Atlanta. I don't really know of his music or anything like that. I just knew slightly of his activism, and I spoke with him a couple times in the past, and then he learned of him using the brand. He wanted to. He took it to a major network, and claimed it to be his brand, that he was the owner of it, and he wasn't. And I spoke to him on the phone early on when I learned of this situation with the network, and I spoke and I said, hey, actually he knows my oldest son's father. They all had Bad Boy connection together with his manager. His manager did a lot of things with Bad Boy as well, and so
it just had to be a Bad Boy connection, huh? Baby girl seemed to be pretty connected. You see, that's the one thing about putting makeup on. Like, I know to a woman in the mirror, it look like it covers up things, but to a man in real life, we like your perfect imperfections, and that makeup does something different to it. Because baby is obviously still attractive for an old tender, but that Bad Boy connections just got me though. Everybody on Puff's head, man. I don't know what to say.
I spoke to them on the phone and I said, hey, I see what you're doing with the, I get it, but if you like to pursue anything on a serious note with our culture, then you would have to sit down at a round table with a collective of people. I said, this isn't something that you go to Big U or, you want to go see Mr. XYZ about it. You would have to deal with us if you planned on doing anything further with it. And I never heard back from the guy. I never heard from the guy again.
And that's where it get funny at, because it's like, well, I talked to Big U, so everything is cool. But what I've come to understand is even though people posture and position it that way, it's a whole lot of factors out there. And a lot of the factors out there don't speak. So it get real tricky.
The next thing I knew, there was a photo op with him and Jay-Z paired up, and they're standing doing a photo op, Cripicola, and Jay-Z's the new partner and the new face, and he did a song with Pharrell about Cripicola, an entrepreneur. And I'm like, yo, what's going on here? So from my understanding, they did sit down with Big U and they spoke to him and asked permission to use the Crip brand. Now, these guys are out of Atlanta. Big U is not the leader of the Crips. He has no shot to call over our culture, what we can and what we cannot do. He ain't.
And this is one thing that gets very confusing outside of LA. This is something that I learned with trying to get the Eric Holder story, trying to figure out what really happened to Nipsey Hussle. Baby girl speaking real game. Now she's not demoralizing or diminishing Big U, but and this is where it gets confusing because by him being the most popular Crip under Snoop Dogg, you would assume that and then they give you the illusion that the Rolling 60s is the biggest crew out there, but really they not. East Coast, don't quote me on this, but from my understanding, the East Coast is the biggest organization out there. And East Coast surrounds the neighborhood. But I don't know, old Tender
made a check and sent nobody nothing. So, with that being said,
and she drinking her Crip Cola. So now I'm wondering, did she go make her own Crip Cola, or is that the cola that they made? I'm not sure. I do know they didn't use high fructose corn syrup and a couple other things. So they kind of tried to make the pop a little bit more healthy. To me, Killer Mike is an opportunist. That don't necessarily make him wrong or make him exploitive, but I do think he's slightly exploitive. That's just like with that Greenwood Bank thing. I signed up for that app I don't know how long ago, and I don't have no money in there yet. So I don't know what's going on with that.
They didn't sit down and talk to the right people. It's not just no one person. And I think that's kind of sort of what the media thought, and these guys is some country bumpkins out of Atlanta and, wanted to,
Hey, that's the good thing about having a woman leader, because they can say shit like that and can't nobody get mad at them. Even she might be telling the truth, she might be putting a 2 on the 10, but nonetheless, that shit just tickled my gut. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. That just tickled the fuck out of me.
I just didn't even understand the infatuation with a culture like this, with people that's not being from here, and then especially Killer Mike, who poses to be an activist on one note in front of the people, and on the backhand, you got gang dealings from Atlanta to LA. He's come here and had to have gang meetings with gang members. And I've gotten calls on phones and they just leave me on the speaker and let me listen into, he didn't know, and let me listen into the meetings that Killer Mike was attending here in LA, on some gang shit. So it's like, what?
Now, fellas, if you having problems translating what she's saying, she's telling you is this guy's being allowed to be disrespectful. And she's telling you the men should have never allowed that, to the point where it gets to her that an outsider is involved in their politics without approaching it correctly. She's dog whistling a little bit, and she's respectfully disciplining, shall we say, loose protocol having males per se. I'm picking up what she put down. You know what I'm saying? She reminded me of one of my aunties. So I'm,
what side are you serving? You know what I'm saying? And so, time went by and I sent cease and desist. Hey, y'all gotta stop using that. You cannot do it. You know what I mean? And so I think they kind of thought it was for play. And so they got into it and did their thing. And he tried to broker a deal with Jay-Z to become his partner. And Jay-Z found out that Killer Mike was not the actual owner. When they finally decided, hey, Jay-Z is on board, Killer Mike asked Big U, can you get in touch with that chick and have her, and he.
Now that's one thing about the Jigga Man. That's one thing about the Jigga Man. Before he get involved in anything, his sisters, they go check it out. Or his sisters have his people to check it out. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's able to be an artist, but then on top of stuff like that, because the women around him do their job thoroughly. So no matter what your status or title may be, if you're around the boss, you got the opportunity to do your job thoroughly and be a mandatory factor, as they did. And Jay-Z not the type of person that's gonna do business with somebody that don't own what they say they do.
He's like, no. He had an interview on with Adam on No Jumper. And he said, no, I'm not calling her for what? Of course not. What did you call me for? You didn't call me any other time.
Mm.
So yeah, so time went by and now all of them are in court, and it's a win-win for us. And this is definitely a start in the right direction to let people know, especially if you start with Big U, who is supposed to, is a self-proclaimed leader of the Crips. As I said, he's not, because we don't have a leader, and he don't call the shots for us.
Mm.
And so this is a way.
Now, Baby is explaining this so eloquently because I found all this out the hard way. That isn't not to say Big U isn't a factor. That is not to say he don't call shots out his generation and his section. But Baby Girl is explaining it plain and simple. This is why when you be checking in and all of that stuff, or he's like, oh, I'm down with them, so I should be good with you. That's why it don't all the way fly like you think it do. Because the structure is not exactly how it's presented. And you can kind of tell this. That's why Brick Baby, he's not the real Brick Baby. His name is MPA Shitro. That's why he able to get away with some of the shit he get away with.
To let them know that we not playing. That pen outweighs that sword by 1,000 times. And when you said, am I concerned about people seeing or being the face? Or no, I'm not worried about any of that, because if I were not to be here or around, it's all paperwork. It goes, we have heirs, we have a board. So it's passed down. It's deadlocked. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying at this point. So yeah, no. Mm-mm. No, I'm not worried at all. But it'll send the right message to those who think that you can just come and take over our culture without paying a price. It's not gonna happen.
And Granny doing good. Not only is she sexy, she says she got out the streets and she's legitimate gangbanging, which I gotta respect. I'm gonna raise my glass to that. So she took everything corporate, paying taxes, got it set up in trust, and she got a board already. And then she about to just inherit products off of people trying to use her name. So it's like, you know what? You can make that cola, but we want to be partners. We, bring us in for 15, 20%. Why not? It's worth it to you. Because she obviously can make her own pop. And then what you got? I don't know what to say about I don't know.
Happen.
Now, how far on the lawsuit are you with? Because I actually did see a commercial. Was that the commercial that they made?
Was a commercial of what? Was it a Crip?
That pop must be good. Tells you that pop must be
cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Blackson was in it. No, it could have been, I don't know. It could have been something that Killer Mike was doing. I have no idea. They invested a lot of money, a lot of resources. They had a lot of people in on it with them. T.I. I saw some photo ops with Snoop. Yeah, that's not even the same product.
Right.
As ours.
It looks a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so strange that he'd even received a letter from the trademark office. And because he tried to trademark it, and the trademark office said, hey, somebody owns this, and we're going to suspend your application. And, it's probably going to be suspended indefinitely, because if you attempt to do that, it's the likelihood of causing confusion is there. And that's not what trademarking is all about. And after they received a letter from the trademark office and told them to stop, they went full speed ahead. That's a no-no.
So they kept going even after
Yes.
they were
After
served
the
with
letter
papers
from the
and everything?
trademark office and after the cease and desist, they kept going. And that's a no-no. I mean, you see people get arrested all the time. If you're in a place that sells like knockoff handbags, they take everybody to jail when the feds come and jump out in those plastic jackets for trademarks. You selling fake Gucci's or whatever the case may be. It's the same concept. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. It's completely so. Yeah, so we got them in court, and the point that we are now, they've all been served except for one of the defendants, and we're moving forward. Mm-hmm.
What all are you looking to get out of it?
Well, the lawsuit is asking for 50 million and some other damages and whatever the court also sees fit. See, what happens when you do something like that to the degree that they went to, when the trademark office told you to back off and you didn't, punitive damages can be
Anything.
up into the hundreds of millions just to teach them a lesson because you went behind.
Yeah, but that's where it get funny at because they probably don't have no money to pay them punitive damages, and then they probably in a position to just shut down once it happened. So it's like in a situation like that, it's like buy me out, which she might. I don't know. I thought when I first seen them making that business, I thought that shit was offensive. But then you see how guys is moving around. It's not a lot of respect. It's not a lot of respect at all. And that's why a lot of things don't make sense. Shout out to baby girl, Tia Crips. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with her. She is an old tender. You know what I'm saying? And that's that, you know. Think she got pretty toes? Mm-hmm. Maybe. Anyway, you keep doing your thing, baby girl. I don't understand it, but I'm developing an understanding. And on that note, we out. Tia Crips. Granny kind of sexy.